The summer isn't generally known as a time where we see a lot of major game releases. Usually that's saved for later in the fall. However, every summer we do see a lot of games that not a lot of gamers are talking about, and that's what we want to go over in this video. Namely, we want to take a look at 7 upcoming PS4 games for the rest of the summer that you have no clue about. These games all look promising and all have a lot of potential, so without further ado, let's get right into this. First up, we have Phantom Doctrine. Phantom Doctrine is a game that we've been talking more about as we're getting closer and closer to its release date. So what is the game? Well, it's a strategic turn-based espionage thriller set at the peak of the Cold War. It draws on a wide variety of influences, capturing the subtle intrigue of classic spy films, and the game thrusts the player into a mysterious world of covert operations, counterintelligence, conspiracy, and paranoia. The game is often described as XCOM in the Cold War, and me saying that probably has you at least a little bit excited, especially if you've played XCOM. The game itself, on top of its deep single-player story campaign that's said to be over 40 hours long, will have multiplayer battles as well. Phantom Doctrine is hitting the PlayStation 4 on August 14th. A game that's been in development for quite a while and it's finally releasing later in the summer is Death's Gambit. Death's Gambit is a challenging 2D action platformer with deep RPG elements. It has you play as an agent of death bound to his service, unravel the mystery of Ceridon, and discover the true price of immortality. Right away, when you look at Death's Gambit, it's hard not to be absorbed and enamored by this game's visual styles. It's got incredible pixel art, but at the same time, it's got this attention to detail that is unrivaled. The game itself has its RPG elements, but is more of a 2D action platformer. You have to master precise combat, utilize a wide variety of weapons and abilities to confront the horrors that lurk deep within Ceridon. The boss battles look absolutely intense, and Death's Gambit will also be releasing on August 14th. Next up, we have State of Mind. This is another game that has a lot of potential that hardly anyone is talking about. State of Mind is a futuristic thriller delving into transhumanism. The game explores themes of separation, disjuncture, and reunification in a world that is torn between a dystopian material reality and a utopian virtual future. The game is set in Berlin 2048. The world is on the brink, lack of resources, illness caused by polluted air and water, crime on the rise, war. Governments and companies promise remedies through technological progress. Drones and humanoid robots replace humans in the public sector. Everything is interconnected. Surveillance has become omnipresent. Me describing the game might make you think of Detroit Become Human. That's the vibe that I got when looking into State of Mind, and that's definitely not a bad thing. What State of Mind has going for it is it's got a very unique art style and presentation style as well. The game will be launching on August 15th.
At the moment, we're uploading 750 people a day that want to build a better world. As you know, our project has entered a decisive phase.
Next up, we have the lone PlayStation VR title on this list, and that is Firewall 0 Hour. This is another game that we've been talking quite a bit about in recent videos. And while it is a PlayStation VR title, and that might turn off some gamers from the get-go, for those of you with PSVR, Firewall 0 Hour offers a very unique experience. It's a multiplayer first-person shooter, and yes, we've seen some multiplayer games on PSVR, but nothing quite like this. Firewall 0 Hour is something similar to Rainbow Six Siege. It's very focused on teamwork, and it tells you that teamwork is everything in this intense squad-based shooter. You can choose from 12 experienced mercenaries and familiarize yourself with upgradable weapons. Will you lock and load with the attacking squadron, tasked to obtain valuable data in a hostile environment, or will you be on the front lines of the defending team, making sure the data is kept out of enemy hands by any means necessary? The major issue with a lot of multiplayer games on PlayStation VR is that you have to worry about longevity. I wonder how much a game like Firewall 0 Hour can be sustained, but I definitely do see potential in the game, and while it might not hit the multiplayer first-person shooter VR title out of the bat right away, this could be the first title to set a trend. The game will be releasing on August 28th.
They're breaching. Moving in. I got gunfire. You know the drill. Breach the firewall, get access point over here. Moving behind you.
Data transfer online. Detecting hostiles.
Under 6, Skip. Alright, let's get in position for breach. C4 out. Move in, move in, move in. They're breaching the front door. Enemy down. Moving on them.
Next up, we have a game that's been in development for quite a while, and that is Chasm. Chasm is a Metroidvania action-adventure RPG, and it's also got an awesome pixel art style. As I mentioned, this is a game that's been in development for quite a while, but it will finally be releasing very soon. The game touts exploration across 6 massive procedurally assembled arenas from handcrafted rooms, enjoy challenging retro gameplay and authentic pixel art, battle massive bosses, and discover new abilities to reach previously inaccessible areas. That's the typical Metroidvania formula. You'll be able to customize your character by equipping armor, weapons, and spells. And overall, if you're into Metroidvania, this is going to be one to look out for, and it's coming very soon as it's being released on July 31st. Next up, we have a game that I am not completely sold on, but I know it's a game that a lot of gamers would take interest in if they know about it, and that is Immortal Unchained. Immortal Unchained is yet another Souls-like game, but unlike a lot of the other Souls-like games, it's Souls with guns. Yes, this is very much played in the style of a shooter. You take the role of a living weapon unleashed to stop the source of a cataclysmic event threatening to end all worlds. Discover the secrets of these worlds, master the unique but lethal gun combat, and defeat legendary bosses. It touts exploration of futuristic fantasy worlds and sift through lies to unveil their secrets. In a story written by a narrative team including Antool, who worked on The Witcher, and Adrian Vershin, who did Killzone Shadowfall and Battlefield 1. Tactical, up-close, and personal action with a combination of ruthless gunplay and vicious melee combat. Annihilate legendary bosses and godlike clashes that will be remembered for eternity. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but let's hope for the best. Now, the issue with Immortal Unchained is it's actually being released on September 7th. Now, if you don't know, and if you own a PlayStation 4, you probably do know, Spider-Man is also being released on September 7th, so a new IP being released on the same day as a big budget marquee exclusive like Spider-Man. I don't know how good of an idea that is. However, I'm sure it was out of the developers' hands and they just needed to get the game out, so hopefully it resonates with gamers enough where it can find its own player base. Again, Immortal Unchained will be releasing on September 7th.
This time I will have to fight fire with fire, or else everything will come to an end.
And finally, we have a story-driven dungeon crawler in Fall of Light Darkest Edition. Now, this is a game that was actually released on PC, and it didn't come out to much fanfare. However, those that did play the game did enjoy it. And the game itself is a story-driven action RPG set within a world consumed by darkness. You play as Nyx, an old warrior who has embarked on a dangerous journey with his daughter Aether, an indigo child who radiates luminescence. Together, you will be strong enough to complete their quest, reach the last place on Earth still touched by sunlight. The game touts 20 different battle stances to get ready to face hordes of shadowy enemies, 10 weapon classes. This version includes an all-new dungeons complete with new enemies and dangers. And if you're into dungeon crawling games, Fall of Light Darkest Edition will be one to check out. It has been confirmed for a release later in the summer, but not an exact date has been confirmed at this point. So that is going to conclude this video. I know a lot of you guys think that there's no games to play in the summer, there are no quality games coming out, but with titles like Phantom Doctrine, Dead's Gambit, State of Mind, for those of you with VR, I feel like Firewall 0 Hour is a must buy. Chasm looks great, Immortal Unchained has potential, and Fall of Light Darkest Edition could be a quality title for those of you into dungeon crawlers. While these aren't your typical marquee big budget games, we do have titles like that in Spider-Man, but the summer is also being rounded out by a lot of underrated games, so make sure you keep them on your radar. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.